Peace. Let me know if you have any questions, anything you want to add on. I'm going to be here until 8 o'clock. Right, that goes for everybody here too. I'll be here till 8 o'clock. Then I'm out. Last week I was here in the school, but I wasn't online. Mega was here and we recorded the build. And, timely, I think. Useful, willing. Willing is useful when it comes out. All right. Just want to touch base, have people tell me what they need, what they would like to know, anything. Okay. Oh, man. Remember for everybody to know, you get this knowledge yourself. If you're in the New York City area around gods, you got to find somebody that has this knowledge. As you build with people, you decide who it is that can teach you, and you seek it from them. If they were willing to take you through it, then you go through it. Okay? This is important. Anybody online that has any questions, I will be answering. Okay. It's quiet today.
Who says? I'm the young is still here, and all the rest of it is still here.
You're not really a young guy. You're new, not young.
Young new. I'm new.
You're a newborn. Doesn't mean you're young.
Yeah, right.
And for a lot of elders, you're old. You're already old to get this knowledge. Don't forget that.
Right. Because divine Prince said, you're not getting old. Get, what's up, mean like better.
Maybe. Um. I have constantly have to go over the order of how things are done. You either go to the school, you find someone to contact in the school, you find some type of elder, you ensure that you have an enlightener, someone to take you through 120 lessons is going to validate, meaning that when you do memorize aspects, sections of 120 lessons, that you actually could show and prove it to them, quote it, build on it at will, as best as you can, a developing understanding. As you knowledge 120, all understandings are developing. They are not final at all. This should be something to be remembered because all builds, no understanding is final. Some understandings you may have are set, they consistently stay the same, but they are never final. They can always be added on, they can always be amended, they can always be fixed. Guys, I have been digging through some of my big box of old plus lessons. So um, with certain students, there are things that I'm sharing. Okay. Some of the gods already got stuff. All right, so what can we do? What can we do today? Right? We could build on today's mathematics, right? Today's mathematics? What's today's mathematics?
Today's my best. Not a knowledge.
Knowledge add on a cipher, that's right. How do you see it? You have any understanding?
Honestly, honestly, it's like to me, not knowledge. Yes. Get a little confused.
That's okay. That's okay. We're in a classroom. This is the place to experiment, to work it out. Knowledge cipher, right? Knowledge add on a cipher is how we say it. We get 10. The reason we say that is because it's an emphasis on that this is infinite, this reality. It is endless mathematics. As mathematics builds, it is a positive progression, not a negative progression, which is possible. It is a positive progression. And once one has made what? something is born, an elevated fulfillment of some sort with that original knowledge, that idea that has been what? Used in depth, calculated usage, wisdom, into a revelation of purpose, a revealed purpose. What we will use this knowledge for distinctly, that's understanding. That understanding, 3, is brought into 4, the outer, outside of the mind, into your way of life. And your way of life is a lived understanding. Whatever you truly understand is what you are truly living. This isn't everybody's culture. This is our culture. That what we live is based solely and primarily, and always as most as possible, based on our understanding. This is part of the outer in mathematics. Then it is what? Extended. How is it extended? What is its propulsive influence to the outside world? That measure of intensity is power. It is always focused, and so it is refined. It reaches an equality, a balanced reality, a place of balance that we intended, a proper position where that what? Understood lifestyle, understood culture has extended powerfully to cause this equality, this new balance, this proper position. And then the fruit of it all is a reaffirmation of self. You don't become God again. You already were. You are reaffirming it, showing it again. So it is a rejuvenate, an energy anew. As you reaffirm yourself, you reveal yourself, you reconfirm yourself. Once this happens, then we are truly what? We are truly building and destroying what once was. Something is added that was not there before, and that leads us to what? The truth of its elevated fulfillment. It is born, it is completed. And once something has reached its elevated fulfillment, then you can actually add on to the cipher. And what is always added on to the cipher immediately is knowledge. Another truth, another true idea, another creative idea of absolute truth to engage in, to use, to understand, to reveal. Knowledge add on the cipher. In the alphabet, do you know your alphabets? What is the 10th letter in the alphabet? Since we're dealing with knowledge add on the cipher, the 10.
A is for Allah, B is for being born, C for C, D is for the
Okay, so tell me what tell me what 10 is.
10 is the Supreme alphabets. Letter.
You could always do this, but you should know it off the dome. Okay, that's something to work on. Make sure you have it. Call, right? 12th letter L, right? 25th letter Y, right? You should know them like that.
Sure.
The 10th letter in the alphabet. Today's alphabet is J for justice. What is justice? The gods always tell us it's a penalty, a reward or penalty for one's just reality. Right? Justice is also the enforcement of truth. Knowledge add on the cipher enforces the reality of what was once born, what just was born. Right? That enforcement, that reinforcement is justice. It honors what was. When you have justice, you are honoring with reward or penalty to what has just been, to what reality is at the current moment. Okay, this is justice. Okay, and at that moment, my head is cold. Let me put this on. It was very hot when I got here to the school. Now I'm cooling off. Teaching after school get hot. All right, everybody. How do people see today's mathematics though? Like when we build, what is the point of having this? What is the point of having this? To say that? What is the justice performed on ourselves for saying that we have this and there's not much that we do with it? So when we wake, what would be knowledge adding on a cipher for? See, it doesn't have any kind of context. If you were not building April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, building, meaning not just saying what it means and how you see it, but actually being able to apply it. The builds on the day's mathematics are something that's supposed to be applied that actual day. I see knowledge add on the cipher as me getting that next knowledge that's going to add to the projects I was doing, and the cipher can extend itself. Me adding knowledge to this knowledge add on the cipher is setting up the entire week though, so something else can be added on to it. But what if we haven't done anything? So you can actually not be in accord with your own understanding. You could actually not be in accord with supreme mathematics. You could have the right understanding, but it may not even be one that you're close to even applying to living. Right? Right? This is important. It is important. Right? Let me know. I don't see anybody building with me. I see people online. I don't see anybody building with me. What's the science? Hopefully, there was one time I had nobody that was registering, and there was a flow, but I see people there. So, anybody have any questions about anything? I'm going to be here until 8 o'clock today. What do we do with this when we're learning it, though? Get a notebook. You start writing what you think about these things. Okay? And this is how you study for everything in life. Get yourself a journal. You don't know anything, you don't understand it. Try to put into words what you don't understand. Does that make sense? See, being able to, if you can't figure things out, then what you want to work on is figuring out how to ask the question. To figure out how to ask a question, you have to figure out, how do I put into words what is it that I'm not getting at all about this whole thing? Okay? Let's say somebody never played basketball before, right? Tell them this is how you dribble, because you got to dribble, right? You can't just walk with the ball, right? So you told them that. Then you got to tell them you got to aim the shot, right? Maybe you carry the ball up your head, shoot it. Okay, that's another thing, right? You also got to make sure that you don't take extra steps once you pick up the ball, right? You can't travel, right? So let's say somebody never played and they just keep messing it up. In many respects, the teacher would be the one, the coach who's teaching, right? The educator, in this case, the coach, would be telling them, you're not dribbling the ball properly. You're smacking the ball. You're not kind of catching the ball and pushing it down and controlling it, right? Then he might say, listen, I saw that guy jump up and then put it in, like a layup. But I don't really know how to jump up properly. You know, some people don't know how to jump. You know that? They don't know how to jump. And then in basketball, right, if you take the right-handed layup, you got to go right, left, jump off the opposite leg that you laid up with. Left, right. Go on the left side, right leg. Okay? You got to teach him that. He may notice that his footwork is no good, but there's other things he may not notice. But if he's able to articulate one thing, put into words, what one thing that he doesn't know how to do. I don't know how you dribble like that. When I do it, it comes out wrong. Okay? Why? Let me watch closer. Now you start watching closer because you've identified a specific thing, a specific tiny little thing you weren't looking at before. Maybe it's my hands. But then now he gets the dribbling right. But when he walks with it, he dribbles it off his leg or something. Like it's off. You can't do it. I don't know how to walk with it. Let me watch some videos of people walking with it. In many respects, the questions that we need to answer, like the knowledge of self, are not going to be there. Are not going to be worded. They're not out there worded. Right? For us to learn, for us to know. So we have to word it ourselves. We have to seek it ourselves. Right? This is very important. Okay. All right. So this is crazy. I've never been online this long. See people on it, but not offering me live chatting. Did people not see the chat here? So we could build? And it wasn't here last week, so I know I'm missing things from people. Okay. Let me see something here. Let's see what we have here.
No, sure.
Don't forget the email. Okay. All right. All right. Everything looks like it's working. I had to see if it was working. All right. All right. Let's see. Malik, peace, God. All right. Purpose of having knowledge of self to be a light to navigate the world in a civilized manner, and all those you encounter about to uplift. I have a young brother here, good brother, well-meaning, heart. He said something very important though, and I want to stress this out. That this point that I made to him. He comes here to learn with humility, very humble. And so he said he's learning the knowledge of self. He wants to learn about all peoples and the original peoples. But here's the egotistical part about it that has to be balanced. This knowledge of self, this learning is about you. And so balancing the reality that you are the center of all things, and yet not to lose your humility, that there is much to learn, and the assumption that almost anything you know can be thrust upon you that you know little, if not nothing of. Right? This is important though. Learning and knowledge of self is a balance of humility, right? And what's a good word for it? Unabashed confidence. I wouldn't say ego, not for the colloquial use of the word ego. I don't think it would work here. But it's about you. Every day you learn analysis, if you're learning more and more about you. To learn a curriculum about a knowledge of self is to be learning that there is a limitless to your reality. And that limitless ought to have you be humble enough to know that you don't have time to revel and bask in the joy of learning a particular thing. For there is too much to learn, too much of yourself to know that has been lost of yourself. It's important. Again, to everybody in the class site, for anything that you want to ask, always remain teachable and humble, yeah. And I mean this, Malik, also for oneself. You know, it is translated that humility more into um, a hunger. No matter what I say, the 5%ers of merit have two things, at least two things. For their own self, they have a fever, um, an unquenchable fire to continue to learn new things, especially that which, and because it's all things, learn all things because their hunger is stemming from the fact that they see everything relating to them. All things relate to them. And so all knowledge is relevant to them. This makes an amazing student. He's always a great learner. The other aspect that makes a great 5%er is that something is missing in their life if they cannot connect with other people by sharing the knowledge that they learn, they know, to those that they are actively studying by watching and interacting with, and see what they could give it to. Knowledge. People had to if I had to define it, those are the two overwhelming characteristics. If there are more, which there are, those two are near, if not the top. An absolute obsession to learn things, fueled by an understanding that it all relates to them somehow and is valid. All forms of knowledge. And as they work to validate it as knowledge, show and prove that it is knowledge and not just saying things, not just statistics, or not just well thought out opinions, right? But the other is the sharing. The other aspect is the sharing. Many, 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 many people may live godly out there with this knowledge that they got here, but they don't teach anybody. See, God, if you go out there, right, and you don't teach anybody, if you go out there and you don't teach anybody what you know, it's not so bad. You're a newborn. You're learning.
Yeah.
You're the one that's teaching you right now. You need to focus on you, right?
Focus on me.
But when you get it to a level where you start to see people say, listen, I know I can share this right, correctly, without confusion, peace, right?
Peace.
But I'm just not, because it's easier if I just be God without telling everybody and be excel at everything, but not really tell anybody anything, right? Peace to the gods. King me, Malik. This is a major difference. It's something we don't talk about that much. Those who complain about it often end up complaining about it because they don't want to teach them. They're you know they don't want to teach people if they're not going to teach other people. But how can I make that happen? Can I follow you all the time? Right? I've taught hundreds of people, God. I can't follow them and say, you've learned good enough, you should be sharing this. Can't do it. Can't do it. Just like I teach kids at school. I can't go home with them. I'm not gonna go home with them.
No. They had to be a lead. Now I'm following.
Yeah.
Someone told me that too. My older sister told me I'd be a lead. Now
See, the thing is, when you share things and you share them openly to people, you have become something of a leader in this case, right? You've taken the thing and say to teach him, I'm also gonna have to expose, show that I'm actually God. Because it won't make sense. Where is this knowledge coming from? They don't even understand. Where is it from? Right? But I know many people that have this knowledge that don't really teach. And if we start to look at what is the plight of our nation, what happened? We have to look at that first. People didn't they didn't really teach, you know what I mean? They didn't really teach. They didn't go out there and teach. And I don't mean that hey, you, come here, get the knowledge stuff. I mean, go out there and just share things. Truth is that they really kept it for themselves, and they become a great God that no one can identify. See? I don't know if I want those people to reverse what they're doing. You don't have it in your heart to do this. I don't really care if you do it. But if we want to talk about why it's not as out there or stuff like that, that's the reason. That's the reason. It was too hard. It's too hard for people to spend time saying, you see, there's a difference, right? When we say knowledge and understanding, there's a difference. To know and understand. It's one way to test yourself, to see if you understand stuff versus just know it. Right? Can you teach it? Can you explain it to someone? Right? Sometimes people can't. Can you explain it? You see, part of the work of going through 120 with me, can you explain your understanding? Can you prove what you read, the truth of what you read in 120? And can you explain it to someone else? Most people can't. Most people can't. It's very important. Anybody have questions? 793rd piece. Anybody have any questions? You know what I mean? Any questions? One of the issues that I dealt with some people, elders building with me, big brothers that are older, building about this nation. Excuse me, a very long day. Very long day. A very superb long day. It was really, really great day. But it's a long day. Right?
Yeah, I know, I'm not falling asleep.
No, no, no. For those, for those that don't know, I teach in the school system, but I also come here from Staten Island. So I take a long trip here. My normal days, I'm usually awake at 5. Some days I'm awake at 3 a.m. because I always get my training in. Today I did not wake up at 3 a.m. I woke up at 5. But doesn't mean I'm not getting sleep. I always make sure I get my sleep. It's important. But it feels like I have to go backwards. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's almost like we have to go backwards when people tell me like, yo, we gotta do something, and people in the nation, they have to be held accountable. These are my thoughts on it all. Some very great, well-meaning gods, well-meaning 5%ers that are really teaching. They honored me, called me, and how do we hold people accountable though for what they're not doing, for the wrong that they are doing, for the lack of refinement in their builds, the sloppiness in their power. They keep saying power is the truth, and truth is being spit out sloppily. Truth is being spit out while they're still doing things that the 10% do. That's what we call it. The 85% indulgent.
85% is no, 10% is lies. Yeah, 5% is knows the truth.
That's right. And some of these people that are doing this are my age and much older. They've had this knowledge a long time, some longer than me. So righteousness is a niche, right? Something that some of us will do, others, we hit the streets hard, right? We know the streets, we're part of the streets. So, you know, we get a pass. We can engage in the savagery and because we teach them, we give them lessons. Sorry to tell you, that's an old way of teaching. Old way of teaching, right? The father did certain things, drink, smoke, gamble. So if I do things like that, drink, smoke, gamble, little crime, a lot of this money goes back to the babies, so it's acceptable, right? I don't think so. I don't think so because if you are not doing, if you're not doing what you expect the babies to do, it's still flawed greatly. It's still flawed. Peace, God. Yeah, definitely, God. Definitely, God. I'm definitely gonna send you that. Should be able to do that tomorrow. I'm being honest, God. There are guys that drink and they smoke. There are guys that gamble. There are guys that do illegal things, sell drugs, things like that. Teach a lot of students, get big numbers. But I'm being honest though. Until we are 100% right and exact.
And there's some that rob too.
That's right. You are not right and exact until then. You know what I mean? With some things, maybe the drinking, smoking, it's leisurely, it's controlled. Certainly, certainly. certainly controlled and utilized in a civilized manner, I think. But when do we say, I want to do only what I would expect? What generation of 5%ers will we be when we say everything that I do, I'm okay with the children doing? That's peace, God. What am I clicking here? Okay.
So you want to say?
Say again?
So you want to say? No?
No, something else. All right, let me put my Cash App in here. God. That's my Cash App, God. Um, email me. Email me. Let me know what books you want to get. You know? If you Cash App me, um, honestly, any book, for those in here, any book that I've ever written, if you Cash App me, 20 plus the 5 shipping, 25 total. Any book I have, I say, not all my book. Most of them, a lot of my books cost more than that. But anybody was interested in them, it's fine. But if you're unsure, you email me. It's fine. That's peace. When are we gonna do something hard, something that's difficult for us? You know? When are we gonna do things that we've always done that were useful, but doing it at a supreme level? Last week, I don't know how much of this will be on If Megas. I don't know if he's gonna put all of that in there, but I had somebody come in. They had come once before. You know, they may even be watching this stuff, right? And pity to you if you're watching this. Just pitiful. It's pitiful, but I don't feel pity for you. I don't feel anything. This young man, right? Your age,
Yeah.
comes in here last week.
Oh, I wasn't here.
No, you weren't here.
This week. Yeah.
And this young man, he's showing great reverence to me. Saluting me more like a mystery god than God. The achievements I have, whether they martial arts, music. So you gotta beware when people compliment you too much. It's a way to excuse themselves to not do the work that you're doing. Well, I can't do it like you, Sunya. So
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do boxing. I know that I came from my grandfather's side of the family, my mother's father's side of the family knows how to do boxing.
That's peace.
Yeah,
That's peace.
that's right.
So
He was in the military before in Nigeria as well too. Because both our family members went into the war in this other countries.
that's peace. So this brother is talking. If Mega says, "Listen, you got your headphones on. You're in that cipher, or you're in this cipher." He took offense to that. I don't think it left the whole time he was there. The gods we deal with you's tough. You learn martial arts with my C gun, or me. It's tough. I expect you to do the work. If you don't know how to do it, then you're gonna tell you, listen, this isn't good enough. You either can't do it, or you're gonna have to work towards getting better at it. But we start saying that, questioning whether we the God, because we're not predicting things. We're God. We don't predict things. We're not prophets. Our job is not to be a prophet. Our God is to make the reality, not say the reality is coming. And build on all this. They're 85% have perceptions of what they think God is, and then they tell you, well, if you're God, you should be able to do this. So, no, you have no idea what God is supposed to do. For all one purposes, he's flying in space right now. I don't need to match your thought about what you think the mystery God is if he's flying in space. That's corny. I have to match someone's corny, cartoonish perceptions of a supreme being. Oh, he don't like you, that's a thunderbolt. Well, where's he paying attention?